Are you ready to boost your confidence when selling so you're able to close more deals? Nikki Roush will show you how to build a foundation of skills and a mindset that creates sales success without feeling pushy or salesy and without fear of rejection. She is a sales strategist and coach with more than 25 years of sales experience and is master certified in neuro-linguistic programming. This is a radically different approach to selling. It's a no sleaze, no slime, and no stress approach to building your business. This is Sales Maven. Here's Nikki.
Welcome, and thank you for listening to the Sales Maven Show. I'm your host, Nikki Roush, your own personal sales maven, here to offer you tips, techniques, and strategies to master the sales conversation. In today's episode, we are going to continue our conversation about making a powerful first impression. This is part 2. If you haven't listened to part 1, you don't have to in order to get something out of this episode, although there are some gold nuggets in that episode. So I would encourage you to go back and listen to it, but go ahead and keep listening now to what we're going to talk about, making a powerful first impression. You may have heard me already talk about the fact that I teach a 5-step process for sales. I call it the selling staircase. There are 5 steps in the selling staircase, and it's your job to move a client from step to step to step. And what we're talking about today, making a powerful first impression, often starts in step 1. It's that introduction phase. And we talked about in the previous episode some of your face-to-face interactions and what you can do to set yourself up for a positive first impression, and maybe some things that you're doing that are actually detracting from establishing yourself as a credible, legitimate business owner that somebody would want to buy from. So today, I really wanted to focus on the written communication because so many of us are choosing to communicate via email or text message or messenger. This is a huge way that we communicate and attract clients to us. It also is a way that we can very quickly turn people off and have them go, you're not for me. I'll keep looking. I'll find somebody else. So a lot of people like to be communicated with in this way now. I am somebody who loves email. I love email. I'm much more likely to send an email than I am to pick up the phone and call somebody. However, your job is to always make it easy for the other person. So if somebody prefers that I pick up the phone and call them, that's their preferred style of communication. I am always going to default to the client's preference, not mine. But we don't always know when we're prospecting, what is this person's preference? We maybe haven't met them yet. It's somebody would like to earn their business, or they have a type of business that would benefit from the service or the product that we offer. So we've got to do some reach outs, and we want to do all of this in a way that really sets us up for success. So thinking about your communication, your written communication with a prospective client, like, how's that going for you? Are you sending out a ton of messages and getting crickets? And is there something that we need to tweak in your messaging that is more likely to get a response? One of the services that I offer with my private coaching clients is I review their email messages and the messages that they're sending out to people. They often have me go through them, and it's one of my superpowers. I can look at that message and I can instantly see things that are going to detract from somebody wanting to respond. So I do a lot of rewrites for my private clients. It's also something I do inside my membership community, the Sales Maven Society. People will go in and post like, here's what I'm thinking about sending out. Nikki, will you take a look at it and offer some tweaks or some adjustments? And I often do. And people are always like, I knew you were going to, suggest that I change that one sentence. I just couldn't figure out how to phrase it. And that's something that it comes easy to me. I love that piece. I'm not a copywriter, but I do always look at everything through a salesperson's eyes and look at it from your client's perspective. How is it going to be received? So I'm going to give you some examples, but I do have something really special for the listeners, for you today. This isn't something that I have ever really just offered to give away before, but I thought it would be fun to give you something that would be of real value that you could immediately start seeing results with. So you're going to want to go and check out yoursalesmaven.com/Maven, because I have loaded a full training on there for you that's all around authentic sales conversations and warming up your leads and prospects. So it's really focused on that prospecting, that outbound, and it's going to fit nicely with some of the things that I'm going to talk about in this episode. So here's an opportunity for you to go and get this. This is normally something that's behind my training wall. You have to be a paid member of the Sales Maven Society, or you have to have hired me to do this training. You don't just normally get access to it. It's a complete training. It has a workbook attached to it with tons of script suggestions in it. So this is an opportunity for the listeners for you to go and get this right now. So you're going to want to go to yoursalesmaven.com/Maven, Maven, in order to access this training. And again, this is going to pair nicely with the stuff that I'm going to talk about today. This isn't all just right from that training. So there's not a lot of duplicates, but they all complement each other. So I just wanted to offer that to you now as we dig into some of the things I want to share. So let's talk about your email messaging and your written communication with prospective clients. And I'm going to give you some examples. These are real life examples. As a matter of fact, both of them I've received, I think probably within the last week, maybe 2, depending on when you're listening to this episode. So I love stories and I love to keep examples that are the what works, and also examples of like, this could have been done a little bit better. So if I ever read or share one of your examples, if you're somebody who's reached out to me, I'm not sharing this in a way of trying to shame you. So I just want to put that disclaimer out there. I'm sharing this for a learning opportunity, hopefully for you to make it better for you, but also to make it better for anybody else who's experiencing these same things, who didn't choose to reach out to me and try to sell me out of the blue. So these are 2 messages, and I think they're probably going to be recognizable to you in that you've received something similar, or maybe you've written something similar and sent it out and not gotten the kind of response that you want to get. So pay attention to this. Now, these are written examples that I'm going to talk through on the show. So I understand as a listener, I think you're going to hear the things that I want you to pick out, but I will comment on them as well. All right, so here's a first example of a message that somebody sent me. This actually came through Facebook. This was a Facebook message, and it starts off and it says, "Hi, Nikki. I know that we don't know each other, but I see that you're an author/speaker/coach. We work with a lot of authors/speakers and coaches, and I'm curious if you'd be open to taking a look at what we are doing. If not, no big deal." So here's the message. That's the complete message, start to finish. Obviously, I'm not giving the name of the person who wrote it because this isn't about shaming anybody. This is about learning. So I'm going to read it to you one more time so you can really hear it. "Hi, Nikki. I know we don't know each other, but I see that you're an author, speaker, coach. We work with a lot of authors and speakers and coaches, and I'm curious if you'd be open to taking a look at what we are doing. If not, no big deal." All right, so I want to break down some things in this message that are not working. So I'm hoping the first most blatant one that you hear right off the bat is, please don't ever say to a prospect, "No big deal." I cannot tell you, this is so, this can be taken one of 2 ways. Maybe you can come up with other ways that you would take it. But for somebody who doesn't know this person, you send this message and you say to me, "It's no big deal." You're either dismissing your product or your service. You're essentially saying like, who cares? It's really not that great, which of course you should never say about your product or service. Or you're saying to me as the prospect, "Don't really care if you're interested or not, Nikki. You don't matter." And as a prospective client, why would I, just that last sentence alone, there's so many things about this message that I'm going to dig into, but that last sentence alone was completely unnecessary. There is 0 reason to put this in a message. I cannot think of any reason that somebody would write this and think that this is contributing in any way to how the message is going to be received. Now, maybe she's being like, maybe she thinks she's being like, I'm trying to be nice, or I'm trying to be soft, or I'm trying to be passive. But whatever it is, that's not probably how it's going to land to the reader. So if not, no big deal. It's completely unnecessary. So leave that part off. Now, the other thing that I want to point out here, I don't know if you caught this, but here, let me say again, the second sentence in this message is, we work with a lot of authors and speakers and coaches, and I'm curious if you'd be open to taking a look at what we are doing. What are you doing? You don't even say in the message. Why would I take time to look at something when you don't even know, or you didn't even bother to share with me what you're doing? I'm not even sure that now that I look at this, I don't even know if she gave me a link to go look to. Maybe I took it off. I might have taken it off to protect the innocent here, but I'm like, where's the link? Okay. So she doesn't even state what she's doing. So how would that create any curiosity for me? Just because they work with authors and speakers? Like, there's a million things you could do with authors and speakers and coaches that I would be interested in. And there's a million things that you could do with authors, speakers, and coaches that I would have zero interest in, right? Like, are you coaching those people? Are you offering marketing services? Do you like make memes of their books? Like, what do? You don't even say it. Now, this is one of those really common things that happen when we're writing messages. And this is why it's so crucial that every single word that you write in a message, it counts. Now, my guess is she knows what she does, obviously, right? It's her product or her service. So she knows what she does. And she's not picking up on the fact that I have no idea as the reader what she does. And she completely missed putting it in there. I'm thinking it's probably an oversight, because it definitely isn't enough to create curiosity to make me take that step to even go and look. So one of the things I would always suggest is when you're going to write a message and reach out to somebody and you're trying to make a powerful first impression, don't make them have to do all the work to go and like find the message or find what you do, or have to go look at your website to even see if they can figure it out. Sometimes you can go to somebody's website and you can't even tell what they do from their website because they know what they know. Like, we have huge blind spots when it comes to our own products and services. And I include myself in there. Oftentimes I have to reread my emails and go, I didn't even like put some of the obvious details in there because I know the details, but the reader doesn't know the details. And I shouldn't be asking them to do all the work. That's my job. My job is to earn your business. Your job is to earn your clients' or prospects' business. So make sure you tell people what you do. The other thing I'm not a big fan of is when you send a message to somebody, starting it right off the bat with an I statement, a statement that's about you. So her first sentence in this message is, I know we don't know each other, but that's saying she knows something, but how is that? That's not, there's nothing there that's interesting. There's nothing there that's going to cause me to go like, okay, you're acknowledging that we don't know each other. So why are you even reaching out to me? What makes you think I would want to know you? Like, she doesn't put anything in there about that. So one of the suggestions that I make, and I teach a whole course on this on emails that convert, and I really take it from the sales perspective and from the reader's perspective, like, what are things that you can do? So people that are in the Sales Maven Society, they often are asking me, Nikki, can you rewrite my I statements? So I know that we don't know each other, but I see that you're such and such. Those are I statements. You hear the word I in there. So in that sentence alone, she has 2 I statements. One of the suggestions that I would make, and this is something I give to my clients, is I say, go count the number of sentences in your email. And then I want you to count how many times you use the word I/we. Now, if you're talking about me, the writer, and you, the reader, and you're using we statements, that's okay. But when you're talking about we, like the company, that's basically an I statement. And I statements and we statements are not interesting to a reader who doesn't have a lot of rapport or relationship with you. They're way overused, by the way. Like one of the first things I see when my clients send me messages to look at is I statements just pop off the page to me. And so I go, okay, so count how many sentences and then count how many I/we statements that you're using. So in this particular case, the first sentence, I know we don't know each other. So I know we don't know each other. She's talking about herself and me. So we is fine there. I don't count that one, but I know we don't know each other, but I see that you are an author, speaker, coach. So in that sentence alone, there are 2 I statements. Her next sentence is, we work with a lot of authors and speakers. So that is definitely an I statement. And then it goes on to, and I am curious if you'd be open to taking a look at what we're doing. So in this particular message, there are 3 sentences and there are 5 I/we statements. Way too many. As a matter of fact, a good rule of thumb for you to pay attention to is the 80-20 rule. So if you have 10 sentences that you're sending out in an email message to somebody, if you're using more than about 2 I statements, you probably need to rewrite that message. And if you're not sure how to rewrite the message, it's time to get somebody to help you. Come join the Sales Maven Society and tag me in a post and I'll help get those out of your language, or hire me to do a private session with you, because these kind of things impact whether or not somebody is going to respond to your message. This is also one of those techniques and tips that I give that becomes a blessing and a curse, because once you know it, you can't ignore it. And if you are just ignoring it and just going on about your way, you're probably wasting a lot of time and energy reaching out to people who could potentially be ideal clients for you. But because you're not taking the time to rewrite some of those sentences and really structure it in a way that piques interest, creates curiosity, and makes somebody want to take action, you're just spinning your wheels. And please stop spinning your wheels. Like, sales isn't about just like expending energy and time for nothing. If you're going to expend time and energy, it should be generating revenue for you. These types of messages, they just don't generate revenue. They're throwaway, waste of time type messages. So I feel like I'm on my soapbox now. I'm getting pretty excited. All right. So that's the first example that I wanted to give and share with you. And I hope you hear that with just a little bit of tweaking, this was such a missed opportunity. Right? Like if she had just started and saying, something more along the lines of, as a speaker and author and coach, are you someone who is interested in, and then inserted what they did? Like, start with a question so I can say yes or no if I want to keep reading. And then tell me how you work with coaches and what you do for them. And then ask me if I'm open to having a conversation. Don't ask me to go and do the work and look at your website. Ugh. I'm not a fan of asking prospects to do the work. Like, if you ever get a message from me that says, hey, will you go check out my website and find information about this service? I can guarantee you that is my nice way of saying I'm not interested in earning your business. You will not get those messages from me. I will never send somebody to my website to get the answers in order to hire me. I'm going to encourage them, like, let's get on a call. Let's talk about this. Let's see if I could be a resource to you in some way. That's me doing the work. Stop adding to people's to-do lists. Like, when you add something to somebody's to-do list, like, go check out my website and see if you want to hire me, that goes on someone's to-do list. They get to decide if they're going to check it off or they're not going to check it off. And I don't know if you've heard this, but they say most people die with a to-do list undone. Going and looking at your website is never going to make it up to the top priority of that to-do list, especially with a message like this. All right, so let's talk about the second example that I have. The second example came through, and this was an email that somebody reached out to me. Again, don't know this person, and I'm going to take out the name of her company that she included here so that I don't say it out loud. First of all, the subject line is, I'd love to help. Okay. So right off the bat, she's telling me what she would like to do. I don't know this person. So in a really nice way, I want to say, I don't care what you want. I don't care what you would love. Now, I get the intention behind the I want to be of service. I'm here to help people. But telling somebody who doesn't know you what you would love, it's not very interesting. If somebody just approached you off the street and said, you know what I love? I love this and I love that. And you'd be like, okay, thanks for telling me. Not interested. Don't care. Gonna move on about my day. And when you pop up at somebody's email with a subject line like this is a clear delete, right? Again, such a wasted opportunity. There's so much more that could have happened just by changing up the subject line. So again, subject line here is, I'd love to help. And then the message is, hi, Nikki. Would you be interested in connecting for lunch or coffee? I will say that I like that she started off with a question. It's not my favorite question, like asking right away for something that involves my time, but at least it's a question. The next sentence says, I spend my time as a financial planner talking to women, helping to get their financial lives in order and helping to align their portfolios with the kind of impact they want to have. I love being a financial planner for this exact reason. I love to meet women who are looking every day to improve their lives and that of their families, and just love to be a part of their journey. Would you be open to connecting? I'm a Pacific Northwest native and spend some time in both Seattle and Portland. So there are 5 sentences in this message. There are 4 I statements. Did you hear them? I'm going to read it one more time. So it starts off, would you be interested in connecting for lunch or coffee? I spend my time as a financial planner and talking to women, helping to get their financial lives in order and helping to align their portfolios with the kind of impact they want to have. I love being a financial planner for this exact reason. I love to meet women who are working every day to improve their lives and that of their families and just love to be a part of their journey. Would you be open to connecting? I'm a Pacific Northwest native and spend time in both Seattle and Portland. Okay, when you hear this message, who is that message for and about? That message is for her and it is about her. And that is not interesting to a reader. I don't know if you've heard this before, but people think the whole world revolves around them. Each one of us kind of shows up in life and we think everything that happens is because of me, for me, or against me. Right? Have you ever noticed when you're sitting in traffic, you're like, how dare all these people slow me down? Traffic is one of the banes of my existence. So traffic, you'll hear me talk about traffic. It drives me nuts. But every time I hear myself or catch myself thinking these thoughts of why are all these people in my way? I'm trying to get somewhere. And I read this somewhere. It's like, if you're sitting in traffic complaining about traffic, you need a gut check and a realization you are traffic, right? So when you're sending a message, because we think the whole world revolves around us, it's not interesting for you to show up and go, let me tell you about me. And then let me tell you some more things about me. And then let me tell you a little bit more about me. People are like, I don't care about you. I care about me. How does this impact me? The reader, not the writer, not the sender. So this might seem like a really common message, and maybe this is even a similar message to what you're sending out. It's time to change it up, because chances are these messages are not getting the impact that you want. You're not getting the responses with these types of messages. I get them all day, every day in my inbox. Nothing about this message is compelling. Nothing about her message speaks to what's the benefit for me to meet her, Just because she's telling me who she loves to be and what she loves about what she does and what she loves about being a part of her client's journey, there's not one thing in here that is potentially interesting to me as the reader. There's nothing in it about me. And now it sounds like I'm talking all about me, but I mean it from the perspective of the reader. So if you're going to take the time to write these messages, like, come on, put some effort into it. So I'm going to give you like a potential rewrite. So I don't know this person. I like to, if I'm going to rewrite somebody's messages, I like to know a little bit about them. And I still want your personality to shine through. Here's an example of how I may have written this message and sent it if I wanted to actually connect with this person. So I might have started with a subject line instead of, I'd love to help. I might start with the subject line is, would you be open to connecting? And then I'm going to start my message and say, instead of, would you be interested in connecting for lunch or coffee? I might just open with something really simple like, how's your week going? ? Get some space, some white space and say, as a coach who specializes in teaching women how to sell, you are someone I'd like to get to know. Because now I'm talking about the send or the reader. So in this case, you're a coach who specializes in teaching women how to sell. And you're someone I'd like to get to know, which again is about her, like saying, I'd like to get to know you, but at least it's referencing something about the reader. And then I might say, we have a similar interest in helping women improve their financial lives. You focus on building their businesses, and I focus on building their personal finances. Would you be open to setting up a time for a quick chat or even meeting in person for coffee or lunch? In case you like this idea, here are a few times when I'll be in your area. And then I'm going to give 3 times because I'm going to make it super easy for the reader to look at their schedule and go, oh, I am open this time, or oh, I am open to hopping on a quick call and getting to know this person. Because at least she took some interest in who I am and what I do and referenced it in some way. She didn't just send a message that talked about herself. Now, we could probably continue to tweak this and make it even better, but I just wanted to give you a simple example to get you started. So here's your assignment. If you choose to accept it, go back and look at your last 5 emails that you have sent out to a prospective client. Count how many sentences are in there, and then count how many I/we statements, if you're talking about your company or we as the organization. Count your we and I statements and see, are you out of alignment? Or are you meeting the 80-20 rule? And if you are, congratulations. And if you aren't, and you're sending out messages and you're not getting responses, or the responses are like, no, thank you, or remove me from your list, it is definitely time to change it up. There's so many tiny little tweaks that can make all the difference. So again, I said at the beginning of the podcast that I had this special gift, an opportunity for you to go and get some training. And the nice thing is it's going to take you right to my resource page that I have built just for the listeners of this podcast. So as a listener, once you subscribe to this page, you can go back and access it. And there's going to be lots of goodies up there for you. So you'll see the training, Authentic Sales Conversation. It's broken down into these like little mini bits of training. So you can just pick and choose the ones you want, or you can go and watch each video, and has a workbook to go with it. So to get that, again, you're going to go to yoursalesmaven.com/Maven, MAVEN. And that is my gift to you today for listening. So thank you so much for participating. And if you need some help with your messaging, it might be time for us to do a strategy session. So I would invite you to schedule that, and or join the Sales Maven Society. Like, come be a part of it, because you can post those same messages in there, and I'll offer you some tweaks so that the whole group can see them and learn from everybody's posts. There's lots of good things happening in there. So thank you so much for listening. Wishing you continued success in all that you're doing. I'm Nikki Rausch. Have a great rest of your day.
Thanks for listening to Sales Maven. Visit us online at yoursalesmaven.com/Maven for more resources to boost your confidence and skills.